All right, here we are. Unaka Mountain, Unaka Gap. This is one of the harder hit sections of the AT due to Helene. Just got dropped off by Steve from Unicoi Shuttles. So the plan is, got dropped off at well, this is Unaka Mountain, but Iron Mountain Gap. And we're gonna be southbound in about 20 miles back to Uncle Johnny's. You could see all this. Pretty crazy. A lot of work done since September. Oh. Yeah, I think we just go in between here. Yeah, there's the trail. Not too hard to follow. This is the actual AT. They did put a reroute in here. The official reroute. But this is actually the AT. Talking to some southbounders that had come through, they basically recommended that we just follow the AT. They said it is definitely passable. You have to walk around some root balls and, you know, maybe climb over a couple things. But they said it's pretty much clear, which it has been so far, as you can see. The reroute they did takes you down a fire service road, and then it takes you straight the hell up. It's like steep as hell. It's like crazy. It's like a lot harder than just doing the regular AT. So we decided to follow the advice of the southbounders and others, and we're just sticking to the AT. It's clear. It's hikeable. It's just, you know, they got that reroute. You know, sometimes you get into some politics with, you know, clearing stuff and what they want to open, what they don't want to open, stuff like that. But that's what we're doing. And doing this southbound, it's a lot more downs than ups. So if we would have went northbound traditionally, it would have been more ups than downs. So it definitely is easier than it would have been if we just stayed northbound. As I mentioned in previous videos, you know, this is not going to be a purist hike, you know, so if that's what you're expecting, it ain't. We're out here to have some fun and hike over 2,000 miles of the Appalachian Trail and finish by our drop dead date to finish is July 3rd. Because I have a vacation planned with my wife, a well-deserved vacation for her. After all, she's the one that's not only let me do this, but let me do this for the second time. And she's holding down the fort at home. So thank you, honey, for doing that. So she deserves a nice week's vacation on a tropical island before I head back to work. So that's why I've got to... We head out on vacation July 5th. So if I'm not home by July 5th, I think she's going anyway and probably take somebody else. I'll be out of the picture. So that's why I will be done. I think we only have to average 18 miles a day from now on. And we'll pick up some mileage in the mid-Atlantic states. We'll be averaging well above that. So we're trying to hit close to 18 now, and then as soon as we get to Northern Virginia, kind of crank it in and build up some miles so that when we get to New England, we've got a buffer, because we're going to have to probably slow down. You know, we'll see. And Chill Guy has a summer job he's got to get to too, so that's why we're doing what we're doing. Let's see if I can do this without falling. Okay. So, but, you know, being totally transparent, like I said, we skipped those 34 miles from basically Standing Bear to Hot Springs. And the plan is we're going to go back late summer, early fall with our scout unit. And we're going to do that as a scout troop. And hopefully we'll plan it when there's decent weather where the scouts could have a nice day on Max Patch. So, I think we'll be able to make up any miles we miss. Hopefully, those 34 miles are going to be the last miles we have to miss on trail. I think we can do the rest of it, barring injury or some super bad weather incidents. I think we can cover the rest of it without having to skip a blaze. But we will slack pack where we can. And I'm not opposed to hostel hopping, staying in hostels. With all my scouting experience and previous hikes and stuff like that, I have lots of camping experience. I'm out here for the hike, not necessarily for the camping. So, all right. So that's what we got. We get some more views. I'll show them to you probably later in the day. It's supposed to warm up to about 65 today. It's supposed to be sunny. It's probably in the high 40s now, 50. It was maybe 40 when we got up this morning. And it's just going to slowly warm up as the day goes on. So it's going to be a beautiful day to hike. The rest of the week looks pretty good. I didn't see any real day rain coming up in the next week. So hopefully things go well. We're going to try to, when we leave tomorrow, we're going to be hopefully 2 days to the station at Roan Mountain, and then a couple days to Boots Off Hostel. We'll probably do a slack pack / aqua blaze there. And then, today's Tuesday. By next Monday, we hope to be cruising into Virginia and into Damascus. And so that's the plan. So in about a week or so, we're hoping to hit that quarter way mark. So that's the plan. Head on that. A lot of work has been done. It's crazy. Look at this root ball. To go down here. Back up that side, look at that root ball. So about 15 feet, I'd say. Yeah. All right, let me put the phone away so I can climb into the chasm and back out. All right, here we are at the top of Unaka Mountain. There's some blowdowns we had to go through coming up the backside of Unaka. Nothing crazy. A few we had to climb under, over kind of thing. There were some root ball holes, you had to maneuver around or through. But definitely hikeable. You know, it really doesn't slow you down, but 30 seconds here or there, a minute here or there. Nothing, no big deal. It's not going to significantly impact the hike. So far, the worst blowdowns we've seen were those ones on the north end of the Smokies. Like I said, I don't know if they were there from Helene, from other storms, or from the storm that had just passed the day before. I have a feeling they were already there because I had heard reports days earlier about blowdowns in that area. So I don't think they were from the most recent storm. But there was a storm a week and a half before that and all that stuff. So, and I don't know what new blowdowns, like in the southern part of the Smokies, have occurred since we went through there. You know, because we kind of went through there and the storm was kind of behind. So I don't know. But I thought this was pretty cool, this little evergreen forest you go through at the top of Unaka with the moss and the evergreen trees and all that. You don't get too much of that. Get some in the Smokies, you get some here, and then I think it's probably Vermont before you start getting that again. So it's kind of cool, different scenery, it's green. We haven't seen a lot of green over the last 3.5 weeks. Whenever you see it, especially with the sun and everything, it looks really nice. It's a nice change of pace. We haven't seen anybody. We've passed 0 people, so no northbounders so far today. Hopefully we'll see some, I don't know, unless everybody's hanging out at Uncle Johnny's. We'll see. All right, let's keep going. Hey, there's our first snake on the trail. Yep, just a little non-venomous. Dude, you gotta move. Can you move? Move for us, please. He's probably a little cold. Dude, move. Yeah, well, yeah, go that way, dude. Yeah, go ahead. There you go. There you go, dude. You get stepped on, you stay on the trail. All right, here we go. Walking down Unaka Mountain. First snake. Snake number 1. I saw 28 last time, but I didn't see one till Pennsylvania. So Tennessee gets credit for the first snake. All right, sorry about the wind. Here's a little view of this bald we're on top of. We're gonna head down. That's Irwin down there, way down there. So, at least I believe it's Irwin. All right. There we go. All right, so here we are still hiking. We're going down this little down. It's kind of almost like it's a wide path with some little rocks on it. But we have run into a few people. We ran into a northbounder named Tie-Dyed. Talked to him for a little bit. He was good to talk to. Then we also ran into a gentleman from Britain who was doing like a 5-day hike. He started at Spivey Gap, back a little ways. And he's heading north to Damascus. He's going to hike to Damascus. And then he's going to go work on a farm up in Pennsylvania, right near the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. He's got some friends. So we talked to him for a little bit. And the funny thing is we were telling him about the detour. And we did not take the detour they had set up, just because we had heard from southbounders not to take it, because they basically put it like straight up a road or something like that. So we took the regular AT. It's hikeable, as I showed you. But the funny thing is, we ran into, there were about 4 or 5 people, and they had like little Green Army little backpacks on, and Green Army pants, and jackets, and there were a couple of them were on their phone, and we talked to them just real briefly. They were asking how we were doing, or what we were doing, or whatnot. And I told Joe guy, I said, obviously they've got to be feds, with the forestry, with the U.S. forestry. Just because, you know, federal law enforcement type people all act the same way and look the same. You know, they just have that look about them. Having been a former prosecutor, now a current criminal defense attorney, I've been around a lot of law enforcement. And, you know, they just, there's a certain air they give off. The way they dress, the way they talk, the way they look, everything. And federal law enforcement people, even more so. And so I detected right away. I told Chill guy, I said, I guarantee you they're forestry guys. And sure enough, we walked down like maybe a mile or something like that. And on a little fire service road, there's a U.S. forestry truck parked. So I don't know what they were doing. If they were trying to make sure people weren't using the AT and using the reroute. I don't know what they were doing. All I know is none of them had tools. They weren't doing anything to fix the trail or anything. They just had little backpacks on, like small little green knapsack backpacks. So I didn't see no tools. They were just kind of standing around. So good to see our federal dollars hard at work. But I thought it was kind of, I was waiting for him to start asking me some deeper questions. And as a good attorney, I was going to invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent as to, you know, I wasn't going to discuss my day with him. But it's just kind of funny. Last time I checked, it was federal land, which the federal government doesn't own anything. It's actually the people of the United States that own it. It's our tax money that pays for it. So I would think we'd be able to use federal land that we pay for. But like I said, they were nice. They didn't say anything mean or negative, but I was prepared in case they did. But it was just unusual, like 5 of them. It's like, what are you guys doing? It's a Tuesday, so I know you're not some day hikers. You know, you're here. You're supposed to be doing something, you know, earning that paycheck. So that's my diatribe for today. Anyway, all right. So what we got? We got about another 10, just under 10, down to Irwin. All right, here we are. It's 4:30. We are approximately a mile and a half from the Nolichucky on the river, right by Uncle Johnny's. I don't think we'll probably get there 5, maybe a few minutes after. I don't think the shuttle across the river will be running. So we may have to either call a shuttle to come pick us up, or what we might do is start the 3.5 mile road walk around. So I think that takes you into town, I think. And if we can get into town by the Food City, the hostel runs a shuttle where they drop off at Food City at 4:30 and then pick back up at 6 p.m. So if it does go by the Food City, the detour, the little road walk, then we should have time to get to the Food City and be there for the 6 o'clock shuttle pickup back to the hostel. So that's what we're thinking. Then if we do that, we're going to pass some food places. We can, you know, if we got time, we can grab something. So that's the plan. But we are getting close to finishing this 20 plus mile day. Wasn't too bad. We actually did it in maybe just over 8 hours. And it's not bad. We even ran into some trail magic on the second half of the hike. A gentleman was serving like brownies and iced tea and lemonade and banana bread and stuff. So we stopped and partook. Talked to him for a few minutes. So despite all that, still made pretty good time. All right, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens at the river on how we get back to the hostel. All right, here we are. We're back at Uncle Johnny's. We're in our private cabin. There's Chill Guy chilling out. We got TV. This is where we stayed last night, and of course we'll stay tonight. Basically, we got to the river, and then we called Unicoi Shuttle, and they came and picked us up. Took us into town real quick just to get some food at Taco Bell, and then brought us back to the hostel. So we got back to the hostel. Still have to shower, maybe try to wash some clothes, and then go to bed tonight. And then we'll get dropped back off at the Iron Mountain Gap like we were this morning. This time we'll just head north and continue. So it was right at 20 miles today, 20 point something. I don't know what it was, but that's it for day 24. And we'll head back north, heading towards Roan Mountain, Tennessee. Will be our next town we get to. So that's it for day 24.